Are you confused by words which sound the same but mean different things? Words which may or may not be spelled the same? In this video, I discuss words like that, especially the ones which often trip people up, with tips on how to get them right. But first, do subscribe to the English Nut. Thanks. This video is about homophones, words which sound exactly or almost the same but mean different things. This of course leads to confusion. Homophones are not necessarily spelled the same, but sometimes they are, as in the following example. The rose bloomed as the sun rose. The first rose is the flower, while the second rose is the past tense of the verb to rise. T-H-E-R-E and T-H-E-I-R there are examples of homophones that are not spelled the same. The word homophone derives from the Greek homo meaning same and phone meaning voice or utterance. Look at these two sentences. Which one is right? The first sentence, I advise you to pay attention to this video, is incorrect. Advice spelled with a C and pronounced with an S sound is a noun. But this sentence construction calls for a verb. So the second version is correct. I advise you to pay attention to this video. This is spelled with an S that has a Z sound. English, I tell you. If you want to say the same thing correctly, but with the noun form, you would have to say something like, my advice is that you should pay attention to this video. One more thing. You cannot say advices in this context. Here, advice is what is called an uncountable noun. If you want to talk about it in the plural, say pieces of advice. He gave me several pieces of advice. In the singular, you could say, I gave him a piece of advice. You could also say, let me give you some advice, but never some advices. You also cannot say, I gave him an advice. Simply say, I gave him advice. In business and legal usage, a countable form of advice exists. It means a record of a financial agreement or other transaction. You could say, for example, that the remittance advices were received this morning. This is the only time when advices is okay. To be on the safe side though, stick to advice in the singular. And spell it with an S only if you mean it as a verb. I advise him. He advises her. The English experts advise you to pronounce the S as Z in the verb form of the word. To broach a subject is to bring it up for discussion. He wants to broach the topic of marriage with her, but does not have the courage to do so. Then there's B-R-O-O-C-H, broach. Please don't pronounce it as brooch, rhyming with hooch. Hooch is not a good thing. It means illicit whiskey. Avoid it. This piece of jewelry is pronounced the same as B-R-O-A-C-H, brooch. It rhymes with coach. To celebrate her promotion, she bought herself a platinum brooch. These words are so very English. On those rare days when England has pleasantly warm weather, you'll hear people say, the weather is so balmy, let's go for a picnic, dear. That's barmy with an L. Then of course there's the barmy army, the loud and colourful fans of the England cricket team. That's barmy with an R. Think of it as army with a B in front of it. Though I talk of barmy being a very English word, barmy army was actually coined in Australia during the Ashes series of 1994-95. A bunch of independent fans of the England team travelled to Australia on their own steam. And despite the fact that England was losing badly, they waved red and white flags, sang songs and generally had a lot of fun. The Australian media dubbed them the Barmy Army, and it has become a semi-organized club over the years. Red wine complements red meat. White wine complements chicken and fish. Please note that wine has not developed the ability to speak and pay compliments to food. This is compliment with an E in the middle. To compliment something means to improve it when combined with it. Red meat tastes better when you sip red wine while eating it. That's why you say red wine complements red meat. Cabernet Sauvignon, a type of red wine, goes fabulously with lamb chops, for example. The tannins in this wine refresh the palate after each bite of meat. Chardonnay, a white wine on the other hand, perfectly complements salmon. Compliment with an I in the middle means praise or admiration. Here's a sentence with both the words in it. The black dress complimented her complexion and she received a lot of compliments. Preet is discreet. She'll keep your secret. Pete, however, isn't discreet. Your secret won't be safe with him. The word discreet ends with ET and refers to a person who is prudent, respects your privacy and gets things done quietly without drawing unwelcome attention to delicate matters. Someone like Preet, whose name, like the word, ends with ET. The word discreet is discrete from its homophone which ends with ETE. That discrete means distinct or separate. Pete's nature is discrete from Preet's discrete nature. Discrete and Pete both end in ETE. So you can use this sentence to remember the meanings of these two homophones. If you can think of any other homophones, please write them below and do subscribe to The English Nut on YouTube. Click on the bell icon too. I'm The English Nut. Bye for now.